The second type of multiple choice problem, which is becoming increasingly more prevalent in our society, is what I call the multi-part decision. In an era in which we get to customize products exactly the way we want. I mean, if you think about it, when you just go to order a simple sandwich for your lunch, you have to first decide what kind of bread, now what kind of meat, what kind of cheese, what kind of lettuce, what kind of tomatoes, what kind of dressings. By the time you're actually done ordering a sandwich, 25 minutes have gone by. So what are the consequences of making people go through these sort of multi-part or choice series type decisions? Now, unlike in the US, when you actually go to a car dealer in Europe, you don't just pick from one of the bundles. You decide, I want an Audi A4. Now you get to custom make your car. So these buyers of Audis have to make about 60 different decisions before they have a car. And so these decisions range in options that go anywhere from 56 to 4, or 4 to 56. So exterior car color, for example, you'd have 56 different choices to choose from. Gear shift, 4. Things like engine as well would be 4. So they range anywhere from 4 to 56. So what we decided to do was we decided to randomize the order in which these decisions would appear. We'll randomize in one case. And in the other two conditions, what we did was we had customers receive the decisions from high to low choice, so going from 56 to 4. In the third case, they went from low to high, 4 to 56. Now, they're all making the same decisions. Per decision, if they don't want to choose or they find it too complicated, they can choose the default. That's what Audi has done to make, that's their sort of simplifying decision rule for them. To observe, in the high to low case, I'm going to compare high to low versus low to high. The high to low, people are choosing the default much more often than they are when they're going from low to high. When you look at the price that they wanted to pay for their car before they got started with this exercise versus how much they were going to pay at the end, the high to low is paying roughly 1,800 more euro than they intended. The low to high is paying roughly 350 more euro. Audi, by the way, is making an average of 1,500 more euro per customer that went through the high to low situation than the one that went through the low to high situation. So Audi is at least financially being better off by doing the high to low. By the way, the defaults are set so that people will pay more money. Now, the customers, of course, are a little less satisfied in the high to low case than they were in the low to high. It might look like that should be completely correlated with price. It actually turns out to be a very low correlation with price. So something else is going on. Okay. The next study that we did to try to see whether this actually generalized is we looked at custom-made suits. So it's fewer decisions, perhaps people can handle it better. Fabric choice, 100 different choices, lining, 5. Again, we're going to go from high to low, low to high. But the last decision is going to be the decision of what socks, and that's going to give you 20 different options. This is to see whether the default rate really works, regardless of what we put at the end. And here again, high to low defaults more than low to high. And this is true even when you look at the sock decision. Now, what is interesting about these multi-part decisions is that it gives us a few interesting lessons about the too much choice problem, or the multiple choice problem. What it shows us is that if you slam a person with a lot of choice up front, much like it was in the 401k or in the jam, they get overwhelmed, they experience some negative emotion, probably also experiencing considerable amount of cognitive fatigue, and so they give up in the rest of the choosing process. So that's the bad news. The silver lining, however, is look at the people that go from low to high. Remember that the high to low and the low to high are actually having to make the same set of decisions. They just do them in a different order. They see the same information. They're making the same number of choices. And yet the low to high people are finding it easier to make the choices. They're finding it easier to keep up their cognitive and emotional energy with the choosing process.